Comicsgate has been the ultimate scam of launching one crowdfund to pay for the last crowdfund. That's what Ethan Van Sciver's model has been all about for a long, long time now. And I think that's kind of drying up because he's got a bunch of open campaigns. It's really not going anywhere at this point, and you could sense the nervousness coming out of it, as I believe that he thinks that this is not going to sell, and so he skipped his launch date, which he was supposed to do, which we're going to get into in just a moment, covering this entire situation that led to this point as we talk about all things on comics here on JDA Talks Comics. Thanks for being here, my friends. And we are starting a movement about comics that, CG promised. They wanted to be a alternative to the mainstream that was actually producing books, coming out with stuff. I, of course, completely fulfilled my last campaign, and I don't open another campaign until that campaign's filled. That's kind of how we always operate around these parts. It's something that you try to do. You try to keep your customers in mind first, deliver them the actual books. That's something, again, Ethan Van Sciver doesn't believe in doing. It's something, he likes to milk these people as pay pigs rather than cultivate readers. Nobody actually reads any of these Cyberfrog books or anything like that. And so I've been working on different models to make a healthier community, make a healthier comic book system. And we started to do this on Substack right here. As you can see, we've been posting a page per day of my back catalog of Flying Sparks for you to read for free. Now, what I've noticed in the healthy communities in comics, it's not Marvel or DC, not the way they do things. It's not the crowdfund situation. While crowdfunding is useful, and of course some webcomic groups actually do crowdfund their print editions after they're out, most of them exist as webcomics, and that's where the healthy comic community is at. They post it up, people start reading, and people really gravitate to the books because they read the books, and that's what we're developing here. And so I am giving you this for free. Just for signing up for my Substack, you just get notified. I put out a new page every single day. We've actually got exclusive comics that we're putting in, and different exclusive backgrounds about the comics as well that we're putting in here as well for people who want to support on a financial level. It's only $5 a month. I make it really easy. And of course, if we get everybody who subscribes to this channel in on this, we're going to have a beautiful comic company that's going to be just doing amazing things very, very shortly. And I believe in it. We've been growing this very, very fast since it's been starting. So thank you for being there. If you're on my Subscribe Star already, it's the same thing. Posting up the same content, so you're not going to miss anything. Either way that you like to do, these are the two free speech platforms that are great, Substack and Subscribestar. So thank you guys for being a patron here. This is how we build the model that's way, way healthier than Comicsgate ever was. It's not going to be just based on a whim that day or whatever you happen to see on the YouTube content. It just is going based on the reading. That's what's failed to develop. And it comes from a Marvel and DC model. Like I said, this is a DC Comics artist who went out. He saw that Marvel Comics and DC Comics, they get you on that fear of collectability, the FOMO. And so they put these like variant covers, 1 in 100. You have to get this to get the variant cover. And then invariably it loses money over time. His model's been this as well, as he puts in these campaign after campaigns where they open up new tier. 48-hour variant cover. This one's got a blue background instead of a red background, but it's exclusive. And they try to get you on that rather than any of the actual content by itself, because he knows that he doesn't have a writer, and so it's something where it's just not working out very well for his storytelling. That's why this Cyberfrog's been so delayed. That's why his Rainbow the Brute ridiculous concept's been super delayed as well. He knows that it's just not something where it's going to invigorate readers who actually care about the property. That's exactly the opposite of what he's doing here. And so we are doing the opposite. We're building characters again, right? And so you care about Chloe, you care about Johnny, you care about Detective Lou right here, you care about Paul and Hannah. Those are the characters that matter. And as they build and progress through a universe, that's what you start to care about more than these like weird variant covers and the like. So he's been typing up this 1993, The Diary of Heather Swain, for how long now, guys? A very, very long time. And he actually said that he was going to be launching this on Fund My Comic in last Friday. Now, this was going to be on Fund My Comic for a reason. I think there's so many open Indiegogo campaigns, it's causing a problem for Indiegogo. We know that Indiegogo has been suppressing the Comicsgate campaigns, not putting them up. You can't see them unless you have their direct link. And so Indiegogo has been a bad platform that he's been supporting for years. It's been one of the worst SJW platforms out there, and he duped his audience saying, this is the platform to support. Actually shunned Fund My Comic for a long, long time, even though people were moving over there. We moved over there before a lot of this crowd moved over there because, of course, we saw the writing on the wall. And this is exactly what you kind of get on this level. Now, He got called out by Edwin Boyette because he was talking about this weekend. Edwin Boyette said, Comicsgate remains incoherent, claiming simultaneously to be victors and victims. I'm curious to see if Van Sciver can mobilize the audience to back Cyberfrog, the Teen Vogue edition, this Friday. So last Friday, he was supposed to launch this, and this is where it was all going to come back, right? And of course, this is again, Achromatic Chronicles by Drunk 3PO and Mighty Golden Patriot are mentioned in the report, and Edwin does a report on the sales. Now, Comicsgate sales have been dropping really, really fast. And looking at it, I've actually outsold every single Comicsgate person out there, including Ethan Van Sciver, through Amazon and my web store this year, which is kind of crazy to think about. I've never thought I'd be a bigger creator than them, but here I am. It's because I hold to my values, and it's because I actually produce my work, and I do good work, and that's why they've done their best to try to suppress us over the years. But this is where it goes. Ripascend is operating by the Rippaverse, also operates as a store, ships out every business days, and this is all ages and the like. And so I don't know what these all have to do with each other, because it seems like two different things that he just got posted together. Here's what he says, and you can see it's always personal attacks. Edwin's questioning about the content here, which is a diary of a girl, and then but Ethan goes personal attacks. Says, "You're curious, Edwin. Bye, curious. Diary of Heather Swain is about teenagers being seduced by dark magic and eaten by Deathfly before the arrival of Cyberfrog. It's badass. You, unenthused about a magical black preteen girl discovering the color green, F-bomb. LMAO, Comicsgate rules." Wow, really, really angry. And as you can tell, this is written like a teenager who's really, really angry, lashing out at his parent. And it's been that situation for a while. Edwin Boyette was kind of like the soul of Comicsgate back when he was in it back in the day, and kind of offered more of a fatherly figure to sort of these people out here who acted like this. And so once Ethan turned on him, it's like rebelling against his father, and you see this online. It really looks like this. It's like, Daddy, you're not going to tell me what to do. It's really, really soy behavior by Ethan Van Sciver, but that's been the case over the last year as these guys have been lashing out. Now, as I said, the metrics have been very, very bad. Everybody in Comicsgate has not been doing well with their campaigns this last year. This is something that's been going on very, very for a long, long time. And as you see right here, this is Shane Davis. He's been doing the best out of any of them so far, and it's barely reached $80,000, has not reached 1,000 backers over the course of the campaign. Not so good. And if you go to Ethan Van Sciver's Fund My Comic offering, this is a dismal failure. 54 backers. He couldn't get anybody to come onto this. Now, there's a few reasons for this. One, this is a campaign that he's sold stuff before. Two, it's a stupid sort of thing. I mean, these are just like little boxcars with some like kind of repaintings on them, I guess. And so it's just like, and they're vastly, vastly overpriced. So it is something that's just like absolutely ridiculous and stupid that, only a pay pig would really come in for. But he's got a lot less pay pigs than he used to. Back in the day, he'd have people who would come in very, very hard just to show that it was happening. But he's also moved from Indiegogo to Fund My Comic now, in a move where it's like his backers are not used to backing here. They're used to backing on Indiegogo. And so on Indiegogo, he's going to lose a bunch of his audience, and it's going to look really, really bad. He's going to get egg on his face on the process. And that's why I think he hasn't launched this. I think he got cold feet over the weekend, saw that there's a lot of troubles and that there's a lot of, his sort of attitude towards attacking all these other comic creators out there and trying to just bifurcate the movement so he can retain more control over it and attack anybody out there, from Eric July to Doug TenNapel to Mike S. Miller to myself to Tim Lim and Doug Ernst at Iconic Comics, and now down to the smaller creators like Richard Embry and John's Longbox. He's kind of just alienated everybody. And when you don't have that kind of like group around you like that, your whole sort of system fails. And so that's what I think is happening here. And I think he's deathly afraid to launch this. So this is not being launched for a reason, because it is not going to perform very well. And he doesn't want that egg on his face right now, because there's been a series of losses that these guys have taken. We saw over the past few weeks how, again, these campaigns have just utterly failed. On top of that, Shane Davis got a lot of egg on his face, looking ridiculous at Heroes Con, getting very, very upset with Dan Fraga attempting to shake his hand and then crying about it on the internet. These guys really became exactly the same sort of thing that they were fighting against with Marvel and DC Comics, which only makes sense because these are Marvel and DC pros. These are the crazy people who ruined the comic book industry to begin with, and that's exactly what you can expect. When you've got the same people doing the same thing, doing the same products, you get the same results. All right, what do you think about this? Are they scared, guys? Please leave a a comment and let us know. Hit the like and subscribe button as we talk about all things comics. And remember to join our movement, guys. We are building something better. We are building with a lot of great stories, and we're story first with reader first. That's why I'm so confident in these books. I just want you to read. Just get on the Substack today. Sign up. If you want to support, that's fantastic. I really appreciate that. And again, if everybody on this channel kind of comes in, even like at $1 on the subscribe star level, we're starting to cook at levels that are bigger than mainstream comic companies, and we can do crazy things. And I have that vision for the future. So get in on this. Join our Discord. Join our community. This is where real comics are at and the real comics discussion's at. Thanks, guys, for being here. Let's fight the good fight. We'll be back soon.